You can spend years trying to build a life where nothing shakes you, but one day you wake up and realize how fragile that stability really is. The smallest disruptions, a careless word, an unexpected delay, an email that changes your plans, can still decide the kind of day you're going to have. It's not the great crises that slowly drain a man's strength. It's the steady stream of small irritations and frustrations. They chip away at your control until you're left reacting instead of choosing. I've been in that place. Outwardly, everything seemed under control. The job handled, the family cared for, the responsibilities met. But underneath, I was bracing against every slight, every inconvenience, every reminder that I wasn't really steering the ship. I thought I was being strong, but in truth, I was just enduring, waiting for things to finally go my way. That's not strength, that's dependency on a world that will never bend for you. Epictetus would call that a form of slavery, not to another man, but to our own unchecked emotions. When you've lived long enough, you know the fiercest battles aren't fought with others, but within yourself. They're the moments when pride pushes you to lash out, impatience urges you to move faster, and fear whispers that you're losing ground. Every time you give in without awareness, you hand over control of your mind to forces outside yourself. The Stoics knew that true power doesn't come from dominating situations, but from mastering the self that meets them. It's not about building walls so high that nothing gets in. It's about standing in the open, letting life come as it will, and remaining unshaken because you've anchored yourself to what can't be taken away. That's not a theory for bookshelves. It's a way of living that changes how you walk through every single day. If you've ever felt the exhaustion of holding yourself together for everyone else, only to collapse inward when you're alone, you know the weight of living at the mercy of the world. The Stoic path offers something different. Not a promise to remove the chaos, but a way to walk through it without losing yourself. It's an invitation to stop waiting for life to ease up and to become the kind of man who can face it without fear of breaking. And if I told you there's a different way, a way that doesn't promise a world without problems, but a mind that nothing can shake? This conversation is not about perfection. It's not about unreachable ideals. It's about something real. The discipline, the acceptance, and the quiet strength that come when you focus on what's truly in your control. And if you're willing, we can step into that space together.
When you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, you've already fought enough battles to know life doesn't hand out many clean wins. The real fight isn't the one people see. It's the quiet war in your head when pride, frustration, or fatigue push you toward words or actions you'll regret. You think you're steering the ship, but some days you're just reacting to whatever's in front of you. That's where Stoicism cuts deep, because it forces you to ask, who's really in control here? Epictetus didn't waste time telling people to control the world. He told them to control themselves. If you've ever replayed a conversation hours later, still angry about it, you know what he meant. The problem isn't just what the other person did, it's that you believed they should have done something else. Pride says you're right. Distraction pulls you from what matters. Fear keeps you silent when you should speak. Ego makes you talk when silence would have been stronger. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Sounds simple until Monday morning comes. Deadlines pile up, your phone won't stop buzzing, someone you care about says something that cuts deep. That's when you see how fast control can slip away if you're not paying attention. The truth is, we don't lose because we lack discipline. We lose because we don't see the battle in time. By the time we notice, we're already halfway into the reaction. That's why self-awareness isn't just a nice idea. It's the difference between steering your own ship or being dragged by the current. And the Stoics knew, every current you let carry you without thinking makes you weaker. If you've been carrying the weight for decades, the obstacles to living by Stoic principles aren't a mystery. You know them well. Distraction from constant noise, anger when things feel unfair, fear of losing control, ego that refuses to look weak. Every one of these is a crack in your armor, and each crack lets the outside world in. The only way to close them is to see them for what they are, openings you allow. Seneca warned, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. How many times have you lost hours, even days, to something that never happened? That's the tax you pay when you don't guard your mind. It's not just about feeling better. It's about not wasting the time and energy you could have put into what actually matters. The answer isn't erasing your emotions or pretending nothing affects you. It's catching the moment when the hook is in, when anger rises, when anxiety creeps in, when pride stiffens your neck, and choosing differently. Sometimes that choice is as simple as taking a breath, stepping back, and asking, "Is this mine to carry?" That's how Stoicism works in real life, not in a quiet room, but in the middle of the chaos. Maybe this is the shift you've been waiting for. Not a perfect plan, not a lecture, just a reminder that every day gives you 100 chances to take back control. You just have to see them before they slip away.
When you strip Stoicism down to its core, it's not about memorizing quotes or sounding wise in conversation. It's about what you actually do when life presses in. If you want this to shape you, start with small, deliberate steps. First, practice catching yourself in the moment before you react. That one pause can be the difference between control and regret. Second, decide each morning on one virtue you will focus on living out that day, whether it's patience, courage, or honesty. And third, keep a short record at night of where you held the line and where you slipped, not to judge yourself, but to stay aware. I remember a time, years ago, when a man I worked with challenged me publicly in a way that felt disrespectful. My instinct was to push back hard, to make sure everyone knew I wouldn't be walked over. But I caught myself. I remembered Epictetus. If someone is able to provoke you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. I stayed calm, finished the conversation, and later addressed it privately. I didn't win applause, but I walked away without the knot in my stomach that usually followed moments like that. That's the thing most men don't realize. You can win an argument and still lose control of yourself. You can get the last word and still walk away weaker than before. Stoicism isn't about never speaking up. It's about speaking in a way that leaves you intact, no matter how the other person responds. And when you live this way, you start to see the real payoff. You stop being pulled around by the moods and mistakes of other people. You stop burning energy on battles that don't matter. And you begin to carry yourself differently, not because the world is softer, but because you are stronger where it counts. If this resonated with you, stay here, not just for more videos, but for a conversation that will keep challenging you, grounding you, and pushing you toward the man you already know you're supposed to be. We walk this path together, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. And when the day comes that you're tested, not in theory, but in real life, you'll remember this. You'll remember the pause, the choice, and the strength that comes from knowing exactly who you are and what you stand for. May you stand firm in what is true, and may you walk awake with virtue at the center.